We're here the Monday after the Great Race, here with Team Extreme. Team Extreme, talk us through the actual start of the race. Like, you left the yacht club. What time, so?
We left yacht club at about 7:30 and headed up the road because we were supposed to start at 7:50, 10 minutes to 8. Right, that was supposed to be our official start time, so we left here to go up to the Hyatt.
So what route from here do you take to actually go to the Hyatt?
We just took a direct from here straight into the harbour. There's no specific route that we took to go up there, just a direct run.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your start time was actually?
Well, because of the amount of debris and so on that was in the water, our start boat actually had problems. He lost a leg, and that was on his way up to start the race. So we got a little bit later start, I think like about 5 minute delay.
Yeah, about 5 minutes delay because they had to organize an export to start us off.
So when you say debris in the water, that was because it was really rough out there?
No, we're talking about like wood and stuff, floating wood and logs and stuff.
Okay.
The starboard actually hit a log,
Right.
and it actually took off the gear case of the engine.
Yeah, that was
So-
from all the rains and so on that fell previously. The rivers would have brought down a lot of like fallen trees and so on. So.
Okay. So you started off. How was the start? But like talk us through someone who's never like been in a boat race before. The start from the start line. What route do you take and how did you go? Did you pelt it full throttle from the start or do you take it easy?
Well, this boat usually you have to kind of ease it into the start. So what I do is they have flags. One drops at one is up at 2 minutes. The other one comes up at 30 minutes and drops at the start of the race. So what I do is I look at my clock and I time it, so I know when to start accelerating. So that the boat gets up on plane just as the flag drops, so we can, just take off and time the start. But for some reason I don't know if we got a little too much air under the boat, that the engine, it cavitated for a little while, so it took us a while for the boat to level out and get on plane for us to take off. So I think the boat Predator 3
Predator 3 got ahead of us.
yeah, they actually they got a better start than us, so we were the second boat off the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many were in your class?
4 boats. You had Predator 3, Candyman, there was Baja and us, yeah.
No Chris Gone Wild apparently.
Yeah, no, we didn't see Chris Cornwell at the start. We don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
I guess he had some issues, I don't know.
Okay, so you've started. Talk us through like some of the route.
For the most part, what I did was I just trimmed out the boat, put the throttle down, and at the start you saw about 56, 57 going up the Gulf. The Gulf was smooth at that point. I didn't have any issues.
What was your position then out of the four?
For the most part in the Gulf, we were running about second, right behind Predator 3. We started catching up to him going into Canning's Point, just as we were just a couple of seconds behind him at Canning's Point, and when we hit first Bocas, exiting first Bocas, I think that's when we took him.
Yeah. As we bend the corner going into the first Bocas, as the waves started to get bigger, we passed Predator 3 and give us, yeah, and we put some distance between us and Predator 3 going up the north coast.
Okay, now, like as I understand, some boats have 3 people, like a driver, a throttle man, and navigator. You only have 2. So how does that work for you?
Well, I basically do the driving. I look out for any debris. I look out for direction. The throttle man actually assists in directing because he's watching the GPS and stuff. So if for some reason I go off course, he will point me in a direction back on course. You'll probably see someone at any video.
Okay, so is it like when you say he'll point, is it literally he's pointing?
Yeah.
Because you can't hear a word he's saying?
No, I can't.
We haven't installed intercoms on the helmets or anything yet, so for the most part there's a lot of sign language going on.
Right.
Some good, some bad, but sign language nonetheless.
Okay, so talk us now from the Bocas then.
Yeah, well, from the Bocas, it was quite rough this year. So both us and Predator 3 were going up the Bocas. I think straight up to Maracas we were in first place, but then Monster passed us in Maracas. At that point we were still running good. I think it's Shodo.
So Monster was the only boat to pass you?
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, at that point. Where does we started to get problems?
Well, we both was running fine good bit of way up the road. I think after tracking station, when we were on the way up, that's when I looked back and I saw the engine shaking a little bit more than it should have been. But I didn't tell him anything. I said, I just pulled back the throttle. I said, I'll go and check something and come back. But I went in the back. I checked.
How do you say that via sign language?
No. Well, by the time we slow down, is enough for him to hear. So I lifted up the visor and I told him, I said, just go and check the engine and come back because it's shaking a little bit more than it should. But when I checked the engine bolts, everything looked like it was in place. So I said, well, I know the water is bad, so I guess it's just the rough water that has it shaking like that in the back. So I said, all right, no problem, let's go. Jump back and I said, everything looks fine. So clip back the kill switch, yeah, and put down the throttle again, took off. By that time,
So you actually stopped?
yeah, we pulled back throttle. We didn't cut off the engine or anything. We just slowed down enough to check the bolts in the back, make sure everything was still in place, and jump back in the seat, put the throttle down again, and but I was still monitoring the engine to see what was going on in the back, and I still found it was shaking up a little bit more than it should have been. But again, Predator was right on us because of the amount of time we took that we stopped. Then we saw.
So at this point, you're still in second place?
Yeah. Right. And well, a little bit after that, a couple of minutes after that, that's when we saw white heat on the outside. So, and not too far behind them, there was another 28-footer that we thought was Candyman. So I said, well, all right, well, if they're maintaining speed, good enough speed, they're maintaining our speed going up there. Well, that's what it looked like. So we said, all right, well, we'll maintain with them and go up. And we were able to stay with them for a good bit. I think they just barely beat us to by Grand River. The Grand River turn. I figured, well, by the time we get to Grand River, they were a good distance out, so they'd have to eventually kind of come in, and we'd meet them on that turn and head across to Tobago. The boat that I thought was Candyman eventually ended up being Ride Formula, which is a 70-mile boat, which was kind of surprising that, we were keeping up with the 70-mile boats for a while, which tells you how terrible the water was. But we were still pushing it going, and I think eventually, about a half-mile off of Grand River, between a half-mile to a mile. Yeah, that's when, well, he lost control. I was like, drive the boat, what are you doing? Are you looking back?
I was telling him for a little while that his steering wasn't responding, but he wouldn't take me on. He told me I'm not driving the boat. So.
You thought it was his steering?
Yeah, I thought I was like, oh God, I know the water rough. I trim out as best as I could. So I said, well, it's up to you to drive the boat. No, I mean, handle your story, what's going on. Because I looked in the back and I saw the boat, the engine is shaking. I said, well, I know you might get a little problems with that, but still. And then eventually, when we took that turn going across there, that is when the engine, we just lost it. And when I looked in the back, the engine was just almost...
At an angle?
Yeah, at an angle. I don't know if you want to call that angle parallel to the side of the boat.
So do you want to explain what has actually happened to the engine? Because we're going to look at some photographs now, some video now of the engine. But so what happened to the engine?
It just couldn't. The water was just too rough.
So the engine, midsection basically snapped?
The bottom where the yoke is, where it's attached to, I guess where the shift rod passes through, at the bottom there, which is all stainless steel, just broke off. It's not a mechanical failure per se. The engine wasn't giving trouble. The leg was fine. Everything was working perfectly. The engine was still running until we switched it off. And so it's just the physical engine. It just broke. It couldn't take it.
The sheer power of water.
Yep, exactly.
Wow. If you see that, I mean, like you're talking about, that looks like about half-inch thick stainless steel or something like just...
It's about 3/4 inch, yeah.
Just snapped. Yeah. Wow. And up to that point, you was second or third?
I figure we might have been running about fourth or fifth at that point.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, we had to slow down a little bit. To take the marker and stuff. 1 or 2 boats past us.
I think that's where Predator passed us just before that Grand River turn. Yeah. So right as they took the turn, we were not too far behind them, and we just lost them after everything happened.
Yeah. The boat wasn't stable at all, so we couldn't hold the speed.
Okay. Well, I, looking at it, I can understand. I can totally understand that. So who indeed then won your class?
Predator 3, I think, won.
They eventually came out on top, and then the Candyman came in second.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations. You had fun though.
Yeah, it was tons of fun. I enjoyed destroying the engine.
Wow. So how long do you think it's gonna take before you're back on the water?
I think that depends a lot on our sponsors.
Sponsors. Are you listening?
Yeah. So as soon as we can get enough.
You might as well give him a shout out.
Well, we have Excitement. They put on our graphics. Integra Paints. We have Savco, Eastern Fasteners,
Science and design.
Signs and Designs, the Audio TT.
Yeah.
Right. For the most part, those were the guys that helped us out quite a bit.
Oh, and
And
our
also,
biggest sponsors, GPS,
Anti.
right? Anti-theft. They
were
came
huge
came
help.
together in the end
Yeah.
and it pulled us out of a deep situation.
Yep. Also, C3 Marine.
C3 Marine also.
Marine.
They also pulled us out because without C3 Marine and GPS especially,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have got to make the race.
Okay, sponsors, you're hearing that? These guys, they need you to listen. Yeah? I think they'll be coming to see you very soon. All right? Well, all right. So, you think you'll be back on the water? Well, you're not too sure. You have to talk to these guys and see what's happening, fix the boat. But for the next great race, what do you think is gonna? You're still gonna have the same boat, yeah? Or
Same boat.
We'll still definitely have the same hull. As for whether we remain with this engine we put onto it, as we'll not share that secret just yet.
All eyes on the making now. We deciding that's what's gonna take us a little while also, not only to do the work, but to decide which way we want to go. Because we're waiting for Chris Cornwall next year, so we can't come the same we came all the time before. We had to come different. So Chris Cornwall, as your competition, you say you have no competition, we'll be waiting for you next year.
if you do get two engines, that might bring you up to 70.
That would put us in the 70-mile class, at least, yeah. So, like I said, we're not sure exactly what the plans are yet. We have to just sit down and discuss with everybody where we're going to go from here. I mean, if it is we need to make a change, I think now would be the best time, as we have to pull off the engine and basically take everything out of the boat and scrap down and start fresh. Now would be the best time to make a transition, but like I say, it's up to our sponsors, and well, the team has to make that decision as well as where do we go from here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you have it for the 60 mile an hour class there. Do you know any of the, like, all right, Fire One won the overall event. I have no idea who come seconders yet. Hopefully we'll have the results coming up soon. But who came second?
Second, I think, was Stinging Metal.
Stinging Metal was second.
They have a very nice, sexy looking boat actually. These boats, are they all made in Trinidad?
No. That is actually a foreign boat. That came out of the US. That is actually a fountain.
Yeah, because that boat, I must admit, did look sweet. Yeah. All right. Well, as I say, you had fun, even though you broke down.
Yeah.
Did you manage to get any footage for us out there in Tobago?
In Tobago itself, not really. We
Right.
didn't manage to get anything. By the time we got across there, they told us into Storby. It was a little bit too late to go back into Scarborough and so on.
Did you party that night? Or was you so tired?
We were tired, and I wouldn't say we partied a lot, but we went down to the bar in Crown Point for a while and had some drinks with the racers, talk about the race and so on after. And, I think Team Candyman was down there, White Heat was down there.
Monster was there.
Monster was there, yeah.
I think at some point Stinging Metal was there also. Yeah, they had a couple of
Yeah, we
racers
had a
there.
couple of the racers down there talking and having some fun, Yeah.
Well, there you have it. A totally enjoyable Carib Great Race 2012. As I say, we're printing up the results for you now. And hopefully KVTV will be there next year as well. And hopefully again, we'll be with these guys throughout the course of the year. Like when they have different boating events, we'll be focusing on them. All right, all the best. And thank you for watching.